All right. So, hello, fellow developers. Let's start checking out what kind of game we're gonna make. So I have Photoshop open here. So just I can draw out some ideas of what we're gonna make, and then let's see what happens. We're gonna just start coding, and then depending on your feedback, we might change how the game works. So what I had in mind, for those who followed this, I had like a let's analyze, and we looked at Rogue Legacy yesterday, and we kind of looked at how that worked, what was good about that game, and so on. But now we're starting from scratch, so we will just start with some basic mechanics. So we're not gonna go and try to make Rogue Legacy at this point. So let's see, let's take a black color and let's draw something. That's probably good. All right, so what we're looking at today is like, we'll make a basic platformer. There's a lot of like good tutorials out there that show you how to do this. So I know it's not something new, but hopefully, this is just the beginning. So we'll create the basics, and then once we have the basics in place, we can further on do more like features, like whatever we want. We can add multiplayer, we can try to, local and over the internet. Maybe I can play with some of you even if we make multiplayer. But now starting off, we're just gonna make some basic stuff. So of course, because it's a platformer, we'll just create some kind of ground. Oh, maybe that's a bit thick. Thought it would be a bit thinner. Let's make it hard too. That's what she said. Anyway, so we'll make some kind of ground. It doesn't matter. The level design is not really the point right now. So we'll create some kind of ground with some kind of geometry, maybe just a floating island in the beginning. And then we'll create a character, some kind. And you can like move right and left. So this ugly Photoshop file will work as our small like design doc, or to explain the ideas, whatever we're trying to do. I'm not gonna write a real design document, because usually you use those more to communicate between a team, and right now it's just me. But maybe in the future, if more people get involved, we can create a design doc for the game. So right now you will be able to go left, right, the basics. You will be able to jump. You will be able to, of course, collide with all of these, like the edges. I don't know if the cursor is probably really small for you, so you probably can't even see it. Hi Huffern, welcome back. We're now just starting and just going through the idea of what we're gonna make. So we're gonna make a character. He can move left, right. He will be able to jump. He will be able to, of course, collide. This is just the basics. So the basic stuff. What I was thinking we would do is like a kind of parkour game. So I was thinking that when you're in the air, you would be able to rotate the character around. So you could like position yourself in space. So when you jump, you can do like somersaults and stuff like that. And then later on, we might make some combat mechanics where you can then punch each other. So something, this would be maybe a game that you play with your friends, like around the sofa, or like local multiplayer. Why not online later on? And then what else? Maybe we'll create some kind of things which you can attach to, like there could be poles that you can swing around and stuff like that. That's probably not for today. Today we're just gonna make the simple stuff, and we're also creating some of the art, if you even can call that. I'll just draw something in Game Maker. So as now I'm drawing in Photoshop, don't worry, I'm gonna make everything in Game Maker. So if you have Game Maker, you can use that. And of course, let's go. If you don't, just go to Game Maker. It's yoyogames.com. and the Studio Edition. So if you're a Mac user, I'm sorry, they don't have anything right now. they're working on it for like the last 4 or 5 years or 100 years. But here you can go and you just press Get Game Maker. You might have to register. So this is free. Studio is free. You can do everything in this. It'll just have this customizable splash screen viewed. And yeah, I'm gonna make it with Game Maker. Unity is nice because you can run it on Mac. But this is gonna be in Game Maker. Maybe later on we can remake it also in Unity. But Game Maker is enough for this kind of game. It's actually maybe even preferable. Okay, you don't have early access, you don't have marketplace selling, you don't have mobile testing, and you don't have export modules. You don't really need that when you're starting out. You can still do desktop exports, which means you can still, launch your Windows game. And that's enough if you're just starting out. And then, if you really like your game, you can then splash and just, $74 now in a discount. You can buy this professional. And then you can buy all these modules. So if you want to make a PlayStation 3 or 4 game, you can then just do that. I don't think you can do that in the free version. I think you have to still have that, even if it says free in here. Anyway, so we're going to make a basic platformer. And again, there's 100 ways of doing this. I'm just going to make something. I haven't even prepared that much. I checked up some basic stuff, but there's probably better ways or other ways to do it. And just go look at tutorials. So, Game Maker. So, let's get started with making something. Let me just see so I can see the chat. I hope that wasn't looping the sound for you. All right. So let's create some sprites. So let's create the first character. So I was thinking these could be some kind of ninjas or something. So we can just call it, well, let's start with again, let's start with good practices. So let's always use the SPR. That way we know this object's, like this thing is a sprite. And then let's call it sprite underscore ninja. Edit sprite, and then let's add a frame. Open wrong window. So we're gonna make it 32 by 32. That's fine. Let's open that. Zoom in, and let's draw something basic. I mean, again, we're not gonna make art or like something too intricate. Just something simple, like that's one leg. Oh, maybe remove that, and then let's just start fleshing it out. This could be the body right there. Let's give him a big head, like this. Oh. So Hufford's asking, as you said, we can remake it later in Unity. Is this supposed to be a game you make with the viewers? I'm not sure if I understood. Yeah, this isn't going to make with the viewers. So everything I do, every second is going to be streamed. And if we make it in Unity, it would be just because if Game Maker wouldn't be good enough. Or maybe I'll do a separate stream showing how to make it in Unity for those interested. But yes, this is the idea that, we're making it together. Your ideas, we're gonna implement them. Now today we're just getting started, so I'll decide on some basic mechanics to get started, but then further on I'll do polls, we'll do all kinds of interaction to kind of see what kind of game we're making. But yeah, we can remake it, but that's gonna be a while. So if you want to learn Unity and not Game Maker, it's probably preferable you just go and there's some really good tutorials. Maybe I can link some of them to you, how to make Unity games. So again, let's give him let's have like a ski mask type of thing, and we can use the fill tool to fill it up. And maybe we give him a reg sash. Very classical, some kind of ninja. There's a bit of knot. Maybe use a slider. We'll fill in his facial color. That's probably okay. Face color. There we go. Face. Well, the thing why I chose platformer, at least for the first game we make together, is just because we get faster results. RPG would take a long time, and then we would have to develop the story much earlier on. Whereas, you know, if we make just action platformer, we can. But then again, we can maybe what would be a role-playing action platformer? It's possible. Maybe we don't need that part. But yeah, of course. Like if everybody wants to make an RPG, of course I can make an RPG. That wouldn't be. Should we make him have blue eyes? That wouldn't be out of the question, of course. Nah. Brown eyes? Yeah, that's better. And then we can just take a lighter black, just add a bit of shading here on his face, make it look more than it is. And here, maybe we need to somehow make the hand stand out. So that would be one hand. And maybe we can draw something, the other hand picking out from here. It looks like it's standing like a squirrel, like. But hey, I'm not an artist, but you know, you don't really need to be an artist to do something basic. You just some basic concepts and clicking around, and you know, you can create something simple for yourself, just to get started. Maybe the sash could be a bit darker. We don't want it to be that bright. And remove that one. I think that's maybe that's slightly better. I don't know. So now we have a character, and this is just a still frame right now. So let's save it. So now we have Sprite Ninja, and let's center the the pivot. We could even put it down here, but center is fine for now. Maybe we'll change it if it causes problems. And then let's just create something for him to stand on. It's just easier. Sprite, block. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but let's just edit. Let's add a frame, 32 by 32 again. Let's zoom in and let's create a block of something. What should we do? Any ideas? Anything? What should I make it? Like, this is just something he could stand on, so just if it's solid, you know, I can make that. If you have any ideas, just throw them. Maybe I'll start drawing something, so we don't have to wait. But I can make your idea even if I'm now starting to draw something. Maybe we can use this kind of shape. Maybe a round shape is not good, but maybe make it square. Let's use brown. Maybe some kind of a log. I don't know. Whoop. So let's make a log. Yeah, the ground. Of course, it can be also just grass. Oh yeah, let's make grass. Already started doing something, but grass sounds simple. Like there we have that, and then let's add some dark green grass. It's like a Minecraft block almost. There we go. So there. We'll just make it a whole block, just so it's easy for us to move around in place. And let's maybe, that's too light, maybe. Let's put that brown back. This brown even looks not so nice. We could choose something nicer, maybe. Go a bit lighter. We can create some highlights. I don't know if we want the grid to show, really. Maybe take the green, you know, make it a bit lighter. Work on some shading there. Make it look a bit more natural. Well, I mean, double jump is fine. I was thinking like, and earlier, I don't know if you caught it, I was thinking that the character could like rotate in the air. So when you're on the ground, you would just be normal. And then when you run, you jump and you can rotate. I was thinking make it for controller, but on keyboard you press left and right and the character would rotate, so you can do somersaults. So then you could have double jumps on top of that, which kind of cool. Then you can have like aerial battles and stuff like that. Well, I didn't want grass there. So again, I'm just doing this, and of course I could have done this before we started the stream, but I like that, you know, everything is here. So if you're starting off, you might be drawing your own thing right now with me. So I'm taking it slow. You can kind of draw your own block or something if that's what you want to do. Or you can also take just my graphics later after stream is complete. I'll commit this into the GitHub. You can see just below. You can pull it or download it from that address. It already has to set up a basic game maker. So maybe that looked a bit weird. I don't know. It doesn't need to be perfect at this point. Now we have a block of grass. I wonder if you should just center the origin on this too. Doesn't matter. And then the whole, here you can edit the colliders, so modify mask, and we'll just go with full. Yeah, sure, why not? Everybody's welcome who can. I'm also streaming this to YouTube and both Twitch, so anybody who wants to join can join. So now we have a sprite ninja and sprite block. So ninja will also probably, we'll have a just full collider here. So there's all kinds of precision collision and all that kind of stuff, and you can do like very accurate. This is actually now automatically being just the character, and that's fine. I don't think we need to worry too much about that yet. We can then adjust it as we go. So now we have something to work with. So let's create a room. And let's give that room a name right here. So room again, let's just start it with RM. Doesn't matter what you use, I'm gonna use RM. And then let's call it like, this would be like a test area. So let's call it test area. There we go. So now we have a 32 by 32 grid showing here already. So now we can save this. So now we have a room. Reopen it, leave it open. I hope you can see and read everything. I changed the resolution a bit so it would be easier to read. Just give me feedback if it can be better. So then we have the objects. So let's create an object for both the ninja. So this would be object ninja. Let's choose the default sprite ninja and press OK. And again, the same stuff. Create object, sprite block, call it object grass, whatever. The block name now is a bit bad, so maybe we should go and change it just because it'll create confusion. So let's call it block grass block. Let's call this also grass block. And already we could create actually some folders here. So group, let's call these characters. Yeah, characters is fine. I'm trying to think, is there a better thing? We can then resort it. This is just for sorting, so we don't. Good evening, Flow Couple, and welcome. We're just getting started. Flow Couple, we have video, we play his game. He's already created all this, so he knows. So maybe he can give us some feedback and ideas. So create another group, and let's make it like blocks, type of blocks. So let's call it blocks for now. So I'm just gonna drag the blocks in the group. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. This looks stupid right now because we only have one thing, but in the future it will definitely make things easier, because if you have like 100 objects and you know they're all in one folder, it's like really bothersome to work with. Oh, misspelling right there. Blocks. Sorry, that probably hurt your ears. Oh, go under blocks, not characters, and then the sprite ninja is under the characters. So now we have a bit of order in the chaos. All right, and now we can choose Object Ninja and put him in the world, and let's do also the blur grass block, and we actually should create a dirt block too, so we have something to fill it with. So now we have a character, we drew it just a moment ago, and then we have the grass blocks. We could just create a dirt block, just so we have something. We anyway have to do it, so dirt block. Edit sprite, add a frame, 32 by 30 for fine by me. Zoom in. This will just be this brown. Double click this, make it a bit lighter for shading. Do some squibbly lines, however you like. You can make it nicer later on. Accept. And we have a dirt block for filling. Yeah, let's hope not too many trolls come. So now we can create an object dirt block. We'll use the blocks dirt block. There we go. Now we can also drop this in. So we can go blocks, dirt blocks. Whoop. Oh yeah, what happened now is I forgot I was centering the pivots. I don't know if that it looks a bit silly when you actually have the grid on, but let's just use that way for now. And so now we can create the. So there's a question: does GameMaker have an animator controller like Unity? Not as I know. There's no animator controller. You have to make it yourself. And I think that animation controller in Unity, it's quite good if you're doing 3D, and then when you go 2D, it's getting there. It's okay, but as a coder, if I'm just making a simple game, usually just having a state machine is so much simpler and less setting up, and I might just do that, and then I just make some kind of tool for people to do that, so the artist can do it. But of course it's all we created some blocks on top of each other. So now we have a floating island where you can stand. Should we make a background so we're not floating in the gray? I think we should. So let's make it not here. So now we go to backgrounds, create background. Let's call this sky. And then we can just, can we make this bigger? How was that done? Image, I don't even remember where it is. It's not under grid settings. think it wouldn't be here earlier. Where's height? Anybody knows can help. Edit background. Oh, it's fine. Maybe not. Some nicer sky blue. Let's find something. That's a nice color. Let's just fill it in. There we go. We have some sky. Of course, we could just have also actually. I know that you can actually just put a color from here. So maybe we just do that for now. Ugh, that's too bright. Let's try something else. Let's do a custom color. Let's try to pick something that doesn't hurt your eye that much. Trying to find something light, but still a bit bright. That's better. No, it's not so bright. So now we have a sky, we have a guy, we have an island. We can remove the grid. I don't know if that's needed. So it's already looking like something. I mean, we've just been creating art. We haven't really created any code. So, and actually, yeah. So let's start creating some code then. We can keep this actually open, sorry. So, let's start with Object Ninja. So we're opening the Object Ninja. Let's add a event step, just basic step. We should also have a create event. So let's just create both of these. These are usually what you want if you want to interact with the object a lot. So, and then what I do, which I don't say I could recommend. I'm not here to recommend or tell you how to do it, like how you should do it. There's people who have much more experience in Game Maker. I only started. I have much more experience in Unity, but there's two different ways of executing code. Like we could create it with all of these behaviors. Yeah, so if you want, you can use these behaviors, but sorry, I was reading the chat. So you can use these behaviors, and there's nothing wrong with them, but because I know how to code it, I'd rather code it. So then in control, the basic stuff you need is execute code. You could also use the execute script. These two are basically the same, but they work differently. I don't know, like this one, if I would add, opening the wrong monitor. So you would just tell it to execute the script. So you could then drag a script in here and run, a bit like Unity or something, but it's a bit clunky. It's actually a script in itself that's attached. So we can do that. And then, yeah, so here we can even start just, sorry, no pipe benders here. So let's start doing something. What do we need? We need a gravity. Let's put gravity. We can put it as whatever we want. So this is a variable now, which stores the value 0.5, which will be our gravity value. What else we could have? We could have speed, which is actually a reserved word. Maybe we should use SPD and make it 4. It doesn't really matter. We can adjust these values later. And then maybe we should have a horizontal speed something. And here so to explain a bit before we start I can explain a bit about the, what's called scope. So let's say that this now will run every frame. So when the frame, when this script has run, like let's say there's a machine that goes like this, oh, put that to that, put that to that, put that to that, and then it ends here, now it exits. When I use just this form variable, it will remember it for this instance or this object for like next time it executes it in the next frame, which the step is for, so this executes every frame. It will remember, so it'll again put the grab, which is a bit unnecessary, of course. To make it so that it forgets it after this, which is good for memory, you can just put the word var, var. Now it will only remember it for this execution. So it's a bit more cheap to use. And then you have a global, and then you can name it whatever you want. You know, chicken. Chicken is you know, salty. Now chicken is salty, and that can now be accessed. So if you put code in the object dirt block, you could access it. So it becomes a global variable. Usually, if you're coding in C#, this is not recommended. GameMaker is GameMaker language, it's a scripting language. You pretty much don't have a choice in some cases to use it. It's just so much more work to pass around information otherwise. Maybe vertical speed. Just write it out. Usually a lot of people shorten their things, and in the end I don't know if it actually helps, because even if you use a bit longer variable names, it actually forces you to write a bit shorter and short form code, so it's easier to read anyway, even if it's long name. And this, you know, you don't have to understand what, oh, I thought horizontal was HRZ or something. So this is much, I prefer to, and then again, I do the same thing. But again, how you name your variables doesn't really matter. Yeah, globals you can use from other scripts, and other scripts also on other objects. So objects, I'm not referring to coding objects, but these objects that are in the game. So the global, it's all over the place, basically. Like let's say you would have, what could be a good example where you could maybe use it, like, let's see, what would be a good, like, what level you are in right now. Let's see what level loaded. Maybe you could put that in the global. That way, if you want to check what level was it, you could do that. That's a bit bad example. There's probably better examples. Like maybe if you, maybe you could do, like, something we could do is like, that wouldn't be in this step, but like global characters, and then you could set that, you know, instance index, which is this object. Isn't it index instance? Well, anyway, like you could set this object into this variable. That way you have a refer from everywhere. If you want to say that get access to this character, you could do that. Anyway, doesn't matter. But right now we have almost nothing here. Yeah, this is GameMaker Studio version. So it's free. You can download it, use it. What to do next? So let's insert the, like, so I'm gonna use a gamepad. If you don't have a gamepad, I can also show you how to do it with a keyboard if everybody's like, no, make keyboard. But I'm gonna use a gamepad, so I'm gonna try to read out the joystick, because that's probably what you're gonna use to move left and right. So horizontal speed right now is gonna be changed by that. So the way to get that is to use gamepad axis value, And how do I know this? Again, nobody knows these by heart. So you would go, let's go and open a browser. Sorry, I didn't have a Windows 10. Anyway, so you would just do game maker, gamepad. Oh, gamepad. Gamepad input gamepad, game maker, docs yo-yo games, looks secure. Looks like a good source. Here you can see different things, what are named, so you can easily find. And then here you can see access value. So these are all the things you can get. Is it supported? Is their gamepad connected, etc., etc. Which is good to do when you do it properly. Oh, my mouse is bugging. Come on. All right. So access value. And then what we will do is, because right now this is, as you see, it's connected to the number 1 here, which I then know it's confusingly 0 here. So this variable tells you which, there can be up to 4. So it tells you which gamepad it can be, or is that controls this object. Then after that, you have to tell it what access value you want to know. And for that, and then here, code completion. So it's GP access 1 age or L age. I think it's 1 age. So 1 horizontal. We actually don't need this yet, I think. Let's just have this. And then this is, again, you have to know the constants for like X. You now access the X position, Y for Y position. So we put X is plus equals horizontal speed. So now, if I'm correct, it's gonna move left and right. We can try it. So again, we can check if you don't know, if you want to use some other joystick, I can show you again. I should have the browser open somewhere. Closed it. Oh, here it is. So 1 age, it's this arrow. So it's a bit weird that they put it this way. Orientation is like you have to be like bending your head off your shoulders. So the 1 age, that's this left and right on the left joystick. Then if you wanted to use the right joystick, it would be GP axis RH. So right. I guess that's an L then, not 1. So it's left horizontal and right horizontal. The mouse is really bugging me out. Yeah. So anyway, let's see what happens. I'm not even sure myself. So let's run the game. Opens in the wrong window. So now he's gliding in the air, and if I press left, he goes left, and right, he goes right. But as you can see, if I don't do anything, like now I'm not doing anything. It's kind of sliding around. That's not something we want. Right now, there's, of course, you can put the sensitivity. So if you want something that's very sensitive, you can adjust the sensitivity, the dead zone. It's called the dead zone, how much this moves. You can go and adjust that so it's not so sensitive, so that when you don't do it, it doesn't slide. It's just because this is not calibrated perfectly. It thinks that it's slightly. But what we're gonna do, we're just gonna ignore. We just want that when it's like this, it doesn't move. So the value should be 0. And even if you move it a bit, like over half maybe, then it should be 1. So you just have like 2 speeds. We're just gonna keep it simple. For now, we can then, if you want to have that you can sneak slowly, we can do that later. So how we do that, an easy way to do that is to just round the number. What round does is like, so if I'm not now touching the joystick, it will return 0 all the time like this for every frame. And once the value goes over 0.5, it'll round up. So it'll round down if it's below 0.5 and up if it's, then after that it will return 1, like this, when it's more than halfway there. So it takes, I put the parentheses, it takes in this value and rounds it. Let's see what happens now. So now he's not sliding anymore. Left, left, right, right. And maybe do it this way. I don't know if the camera is inverted, so it might be that it looks confusing for you, but it is for me moving the correct way. So now Huffern is asking, why is it constantly updating? This is something I skipped a bit, and it's slightly on purpose, but I can go through it. So let's save this. So again, if we go back to this thing, we had events. So event, it's like, hey, it's your birthday. It's an event. So it's something that triggers something. It makes something happen. So the create event that we have here, that is going to trigger everything that's here in the actions. So all these actions that we put here. So we can put as many as we want. We can put weird actions like drawing, or hello. Now we'll draw text hello at the x00 when it's created, or we can. There's a lot, or we can add. I just want to show you that whatever you do, you can stack them. So when this object is created, then it runs these scripts. Okay. So if I drag, then like I put him here now already. So when I run the game, he's instantly created. We create it for you. The other way it can be created is by script. So if you make a script or code that makes it, creates the thing, then he is there. So now this would just run once. So you're born. This is your birthday. This is the guy's birthday. He was born and it's only run once, so he doesn't get a second chance. But then we have step. Step is like in Unity, if you use that, it's update or fixed update, or it runs every frame. So this event is like every frame that's drawn. So every time, because the computer, it has to draw the whole screen. So every time it has finished redrawing, or before it has finished redrawing or started drawing, it will execute all the code we have here now. So if I click between these two, you can see that the script vanishes. So it means that in the right side here, it's depending on what I selected here, it's a bit like tabs on a browser. So we can see then here that it's executing a piece of code. We actually can name it. Sorry, my mug is a bit mouse is a bit somehow buggy today. So we could take all this script, we could take all of this and put it into create, but then it's only run once. So instantly it starts, it would just, you could move slightly, but then you couldn't move anymore. But this runs all the time. So Huffern's asking, when you execute the script, for example, the one that you just created that moves the player. Yeah, so because I attached this to the step, which keeps running. It's like, it keeps doing it all the time. I attached an action, which is execute a piece of code. This action from the control, it executes whatever I write here. These are linked now. So if I close this, oh, where did it go? If I double click here, it opens it again. Yeah, so this is actually we don't even use yet. I can remove it. So the only thing that actually are doing anything right now is these two lines. So this X, it's something that's built into the engine. I haven't defined it. You just need to know it's X. You can look it up in their documentation. And X is the position in this way. So if you have like in school, you've gone through math and you have had like, X coordinates, you're doing like a graph or something like this. It's the same thing. It's just a coordinate system. So we can say where on the X plane or on this left and right, horizontally where it is, that's X. So now what we're doing is we're taking the X that's already there, which I placed here. So it's, it's off by a bit. It's off. and then it's adding whatever this is, and it's taking this value from here. So when I press this left, this becomes 1, then it adds on the position here a 1. So then he's moving 1 forward all the time. Does that make sense? I know this is very hard, and you know, sometimes even as an experienced programmer, you kind of forget that, oh yeah, this executes like this. So don't feel like, you know, you have to understand it instantly. You usually, after you start coding a bit, you get an intuition, when should it be executed all the time and when should it just be executed once. So usually when something moves very smoothly, it needs to only be executed once. No. Like, I don't think you can wait for the step. The step will always finish. I might be wrong. Like I said, I only used this 2 weeks. You can do that in Unity with a coroutine. But if you would like this to wait, there's other ways of doing it, like setting a timer in a different way, which you can do with a if. Like, you would check that has that timer run out, then add this. That way you could do it. But this executes all the time, and I prefer personally not to use things that says wait, because it's really not good for performance usually. There's better ways of doing the same thing. But yeah, I could do something here. There's nothing saying that this script needs to end in this. Like, soon we'll actually add something plus so it goes up and down too. What I'm going to do next is actually I'm going to take the speed variable and I'm going to multiply this with the speed because he was moving a bit slow. So when I multiply, this is 1, this is now 4 from here. So when it's executed together, oh, keeps opening in the wrong monitor. So now he moves a bit faster, as you can see. Still not very pretty, but he's moving faster. Actually, we could make, I think it's under views, we could make the screen 640, 480, maybe? Is that too small? Will it update? Oh, let's not have 2 characters, delete. See what happens. Oh, okay. We can adjust that later. Actually, you can do it from here too, but that's the whole screen. It's just a weird format right now. Anyway, that we can adjust later. So now, you know, we have this. So we can already move left and right. So let's apply a gravity. So let's just do, we can just do like, an easy way is just to do S. So now we have gravity. So it's just this value. So now when I press play, let's see what happens. So now he's falling down. But he just keeps falling down. That's not what we want. Except this is a game where you're just falling down all the time. That's okay. So I keep adding this value on top of where he is. So it keeps going like, oh, put 0 plus 5 on the Y. Oh, put 0 plus 5 on the Y. And then it moves it up and down. And in Game Maker, plus is down and minus is up. In some games it's the reverse, or game engines, but here it's like that. What could we do then? So then we could of course say that instead of putting it straight to here, we could create a vertical speed. Vertical speed equals grav, and then we just add the vertical speed. This gives us the ability to change the vertical speed, not just have gravity on it, because we want it at some point that you can jump, right? And that he also stops on the ground. So we need to put code there in between. As you can see, this does the exact same thing. But we don't want no, this is fine. This will just keep adding gravity. So now we wanted to make stop. So we already, when you created these, on contrary to some other game engines, this adds a collider by default. So what does a collider do? Look here, when I click this, it has kind of an edge. It puts this edge on the object so that the game knows that this is where the object ends. So if you look at the ninja, his collider looks like that. That's where it's kind of telling the engine that he starts. You could put precise, then his only color now, if you can see, on top of the character or a round thing. But this is fine for us. And what it does is you can detect if something is inside of this area or outside of this area. That's useful when doing collision. And collision is what almost every game engine uses the same thing. So when you get on top of this, it's collision. Yeah, the inverted Y is a bit. Some often saying that it's a bit frustrating, and it is, yeah. But you get used to it, and then after that, you don't think about it anymore. So now what we want to do is we want him to, when he falls down, we want him to collide with this. So it goes like bloop, bloop. Not like going through the whole thing, because then then he'll just fall through the world. We want, of course, if he goes here, then he needs to fall down. But here he just should be like a happy camper and walking around. So what we can do is we can actually we should make our first collision code. So one way of checking if something is colliding, it's called place meeting. And when we open this, I can open actually again here. We can go game maker, just so we know it's the game maker's thing. We could also write just collision. I don't know how to do collision. Let's look at how you do collision. Oh, yo-yo check collision checking game maker. It's again yo-yo games. Looks good. Oh, okay. A lot of text, blah blah blah. Nobody reads it. Simple collision checking. Oh, we have lots of different. We're going to use the place meeting. And if you don't know which one it is, you can just open it, read it. Oh, what does this do? Oh, okay. Oh, not the one. Place meeting. Okay, this is the one we want. So here's even an example. And here you can even see the coordinate system. So 0, and the bigger it is, it goes downward. It's because 0, 0 is in the corner of the upper left corner. And then the higher the X, to the right. And then what this does is checks if something is overlapping with something or not. So here you can see an example. If keyboard check VK left, this does is that, let's say you don't have a controller and you want to make this work with keyboard, you can use, for example, keyboard check. There's other better commands, and then this makes it, the left, so that the key arrow to the left, and then you run this code. So let's do that. I'm just showing you how you find this stuff on your own, because you're not gonna have me around all the time. I mean, I would be awesome to stream 24/7, but if you want to make your own stuff, you will have to learn how to Google. Google is your friend, at least in this stuff. I don't think their motto is anymore do no evil, so maybe I shouldn't be saying that. Maybe they're evil. Evil. So now, what we want to do is we have the vertical speed. So what we want to do is let's check the position. So when you go here, you should have code completion, I hope. No? Where is it? Anyway, so place meeting, first variable is the X position where we want to check, and the Y position. So this is not, you just have to define where you want to check on the screen. So we would do X where we are now. So it's the same variable here, which we're going to change, plus the horizontal speed. So this is where we're going to be in a second when we do this. So we're checking it before we're doing it. So let's check where we're going to be in the future after this is executed. And then the Y variable, we can just put in Y for now. And then we need to know what we're checking with. For now, there's different ways, but let's just check object grass block. So now, yes, you wouldn't be colliding with anything else except the grass block, but it's good enough for us for now to see if it works. So then, if true, so if you're not familiar with if, it's like if, how to explain simply, it's actually a difficult concept. I'm not going to spend too much time teaching basics of programming, but if is like, if, well, if something, if colliding, then. So this is the then part. You don't write then here, but this will be run. This code will only be executed if this is happening, or if it's true. So this variable or this function will return either true or false. Let's see if they say that in the documentation. It seems like they're not specifying what it's going to return. So that's bad for there. But here it says please returns true as one instance or both instances do not use places. Yeah, so it returns either true or false. Usually in documentation for programming, it's nice that it would say what it returns, so you would know. But GameMaker doesn't do that in their documentation. But luckily, I know that it returns either false or true. So if they're hitting, then run the script. And now we need to stop it from moving. So we could do just we can just do horizontal speed is 0. So now no matter what you do here, oh, not horizontal, sorry, vertical speed. Woo. Almost. So whatever the gravity is saying, if there's something colliding in the next, where you're going to move next, it's going to put it to 0. And for those who are experienced game makers, I know, just wait a minute. I'm just showing this first. So let's try that. So now he dropped down. Let's see that, oh, he wasn't falling anymore. Let's try that again. Sorry. I'll try to be less fast. So now he's dropping really slowly. You can move still. Ah, ah. Now we should do fall damage. Anyway. Oh, he stopped. Cool. He's walking on ground. Oh no, he fell off the platform. And now he's falling really slowly. Okay. Now, this is fine, but it isn't. So, what would this just checks for the next, where he goes next. So let's say this value would be like, let's say put the speed to 40. Well, actually not speed. Let's put the gravity to 40. Speed can still be 4. Keep confusing horizontal and vertical. Let's see what happens now. Oh, well, maybe that's what you wanted. He dropped and went into the ground. Why did this happen? Well, it happened because this just puts it to 0. It doesn't really try to taking account anything else. It just says, oh, it's gonna collide and then 0. And when you have used really big values, he's just gonna go inside the object or even float in the air sometimes. So what we want to do is this is not enough. So what we want to do is just check if he stops early. Like if he's here now and this is ground, then we need to move him until he meets the ground. Yeah, Game Maker is a bit confusing. And welcome Katana. And I'm also showing it with code. You can actually do it with simpler ways. I'm just showing it for people who kind of want to do the programming. Maybe Arash, who I'm developed with, he's an artist. Maybe he will make a game using the simpler behaviors where you can just drag and drop. But because this has no built-in a collision, so what we'll do is while. So while and let's just write it down. So it's again almost the same thing. Plus horizontal speed. But yeah, if you want something simple, there is a simpler system to make games that's called, let me think. Arash, if you're there, you can post it. I can't remember what its name. I'm blanking out. But there is one very, very simple system where you can just drag and drop, and it's really simple. You don't have to know coding and know all of this stuff that I'm doing right now. But then again, knowing this, yeah, drag and drop. What's it called, Arash? Do you know? Stencil, yeah. He might make something in stencil. It's like a drag and drop. You still have to know some logic, but just logic. You don't have to know, oh, what's a variable in this area, stuff like that. It's much simpler. But yeah. So where were we? So place meeting plus horizontal speed, and we just want to move in the direction. So you can use sine. So what sine does is it basically always makes it 1, 0, or -1. So if horizontal speed is minus 100, this will be -1. If it's plus 100, it will be +1. And then we move it now, the x position, 1 up for every iteration. And then what we want to do is move it. If this is the wall, here's the player, he's collided, and then what we're doing now is while it hasn't yet hit, we are moving it slowly, and then it hits. So we move it always up to the ground. So he's attached to the ground. So we're checking. So if he would be floating, he would be moving here. And you can't see it. It's not going to be slowed down, slow motion, but I'm just explaining what it's doing. It's like, okay, now you're on the ground. And this is a not thing. So if I put here, this would mean not whatever you're doing. So the reverse logic. So here, when place is not meeting, because I have this not here, it's exclamation. Again, confusing for people who are not programmers. You just have to know it's the reverse. It inverts whatever you're doing. So if you're saying the place is meeting, this is saying the place is not meeting. So then what we do, so this is the x coordinate, and then we can just use the y coordinate, and then again the same object, grass block. there is some kind of... So, and then let's move the character, so we can just go x plus equals, again, sine, and then the horizontal speed. Yeah. So now the horizontal speed, you kind of move it up. So we're just editing x. So we add to the x until it fits. And what we can also actually do, not horizontal speed. Why am I writing horizontal speed? We were looking at vertical. You're not following. Nobody noticed it. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. My bad. We will do this also for horizontal. Don't worry. It'll be the exact same code, but I'm just supposed to be looking at vertical, and this should then be y. And actually, all of this is wrong. I should go home. Anyway. All right. So what I did now, fast edit this. Sorry, I was looking all the time x, which is horizontal. We are not supposed to look at horizontal. We're looking up and down, right? We're looking at up and down, which means that we're also moving this, checking if something is below, then put it to 0. And if it's something, so even earlier it was just working wrong. So now we're looking at the right thing. I'm sorry about that. It's hard to focus sometimes when you're talking so much. Usually when you program, you just sit silent and drink a cup of coffee and, you're in your own world. Yeah, Katana Beetle says that he picked up the bundle, and yeah, it's got quite overwhelmed, and there's a lot of tutorials. Actually, this same thing, what I'm doing, is also covered on YouTube in many instances. Usually what overwhelms people is just that there's so much to learn. Making game is multidisciplinary. You have to know so much, so many concepts, like what I'm talking about, colliders. You have to know what, there's so much to learn, but just to be patient. It takes some time. Nobody's gonna be a master. If you're making a tutorial, if you're new, you can just follow the tutorials, do what they say, and even if you don't understand, just follow, try to make it work. Remember that code is very precise, so be sure that you're like putting the plus. Like I just did a mistake, and I've been doing programming for a long time, so everybody does mistakes. And then you can take someone else's code once you coded it. Like if you take a tutorial, and then you can just edit it. Like I can just put here like +10. Oh, what's gonna happen? And that way you learn slowly. And also, learning coding is much more fun if you're doing it with somebody. So sorry again. So we were doing the wrong thing again. Going back to the topic, we were applying it to the x all the time, which is fine. We could have left that there, but we were looking at y, and actually everybody was probably just screaming that you're just checking. It went under the ground because you're checking x and y, not x, not y. But what would happen now, even if the demo was kind of not really right, he would have been floating with bigger. Yeah, these times, and like Huffern says, code 10% of the time and fix errors 90% of the time. Yeah, you should try. Like that's the whole point. If you don't like trying and failing, you're not becoming a programmer. It used to be back in the day, actually, that like now when I press play here, this compiles. You see there's a lot of text going here, so it creates this whole program in some seconds. It used to be that this took like up to 1 day or 2 days, even depending on what you're doing, even longer, just for like a simple math. And now he's falling through everything, because we're not doing anything with y. But And then back then, what I actually had to do was read every line of code, making it perfect before you compile it. And also, at some point of this series, I might go a bit fast. You can always ask what happened. And I might do also a really beginner where a video about what's a variable, what's an if sentence, and do some basic practice. That though requires some preparation because it's not that easy to explain. I think that's where most people fail as teachers. So now we should also put the horizontal. So what I was gonna do before I went all crazy was that here we could do horizontal speed is 0, and then we add it to horizontal speed, and then horizontal speed is added here. So now, again, the sign is very not very complex, but it's a bit hard to explain. Let's look again what Game Maker does. Again, I'm doing this on purpose. That I'm going to Googling stuff, because that's how you program. You look up stuff, and if you don't know how to look up stuff, then it's gonna be hard. So let's look at what sign does. Sign, yo-yo games. Okay. The number to get the sign of. This function returns whatever a number is, whether a number is positive or negative. It either returns 1, -1, 0, respectively. For example, sign 458 will return 1, so it'll become 1. Returning means it just becomes it. After this has been done, it becomes 1. Sign -5 will return -1, and sign 0 will always return 0. So why we're doing it here is because while it's still not, here it says it's gonna crash, you're gonna crash land. When you go here, you're gonna crash. Next, when we're adding this, you're gonna crash, you're gonna burn, it's gonna hurt. But we don't want you to say, because sometimes the movement can jump from all the way here, all the way down here. We don't want him to float up in the sky just because his speed is high. So what we want to do is here is saying while it's still not meeting with the ground, just move it with 1 pixel. Just move it 1. So we keep moving. Oh, okay, it can still move down. Oh, no, it's not anymore. Now it's actually up close. John's suggesting what we could do is download the code and set up the source tree. I think you don't even need to set up the source tree. I can show you shortly how you can just download the source code, and then you can just install in the folder. I will name every commit also, if you know what that is, by the name of the episode. So if you want to go to specific episode's code, you can always instantly go there. Usually I would do like a small bit of code and then commit it and write what I did, so you have kind of a log what happened, but that I'm not doing that right now. So anyway, we're moving 1 until you can't even move 1. That's when we stop. Again, I'm writing horizontal everywhere. I don't know where I keep getting it. Please tell me if you notice why I'm writing horizontal all the time. I need to focus what I'm doing. So yeah, and this time Huffern was noticed it. Good. Exactly. We saved again some time. We don't have to rerun it. Let's see what happens now. Okay, he's falling still. Oh, he landed. Let's make gravity a bit bigger. What is the gravity in real world? 9.8, whatever, something. Let's put it 9. Something 9, something, 0, something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So now he's still floating, so something is wrong. Let's try that again. And this is what coding is. It's trial and error. You're not getting it right the first time. So let's see why it's like that. What if we move... I'm just gonna do a test. Let's just make it y. Sorry. Yeah. See what happens now. Still floating. Let's make the speed a bit slower. Let's make it, not speed, I mean the gravity, let's make it 1. Now we are just moving 1 pixel. So this is what it should be. So there's nothing wrong with the collider. I don't think it matters, but let's see. Oh, we still had it at 1, sorry. Yeah, it won't work at 50 if he's floating at 5. 9.81 is the gravity, yeah. Oh, now it works. Yeah, of course. We were setting the vertical speed here. We should have set it here, because otherwise vertical speed will be 0 and it won't work. So, this is why I wanted to do everything live. I could have prepared this. I could have like everything open on the, usually when you look at a tutorial, they'll just show you and they'll be like perfect. They'll be like, oh, well, this is, you do this, and this is of course self-explanatory, and everybody knows that this is how it is, and and then they don't show that actually before he did this, he failed like 60 times, and so this shows, like, I think this also helps. Showing my mistakes helps you. So now let's try it with 50. It might be he actually goes through the whole thing. Because, let's see what happens. Oh, he didn't. There is a risk now that actually the next jump is actually through the whole object, and that he might teleport through. Let's see what happens. It's like 50,000. I'm very sure he's just gonna fall into nothingness. Yeah, he just went. So this code is not perfect, but it's good to start with. Yeah, whew. Hard to just make something collide, it seems. So now we can try. Okay, now it's working well. I'm moving the character, but he's not jumping. Let's make him jump. So now the question is how to make it jump. So first, what we need is, we need something that says how high a white man can jump. No, wait. So let's call it jump speed. So we have horizontal speed, vertical jump speed. I would like to use speed here too, but maybe we call it movement speed. That's not bad. So I just change it. Like I said, this shows variables. Just name it so you understand it. Oh, this is the speed of the movement. Okay. This is the jump speed. Oh, okay. Instead of calling it, you could call it that too, but, the order is now 384. That's very important. Let's leave it there. No, just kidding. So jump speed. So why didn't it work on 5,000, they're asking, or 50,000? So what does this do? It says, again, it checks how much you move forward, vertical speed. So when I put the gravity to 50,000, or something really, 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 really big. Okay, let's do this manually. Let's be the computer. So let's do it with 5. So what happens? Let's just simulate this code first. Okay, if placed meeting x, okay, x is the same as the characters, okay. So y is vertical speed plus y plus vertical speed. So let's go 5 pixels down because that's the only thing that's actually put in the vertical speed right now, which is the gravity. So 5 pixels down. Okay. Is there anything here? Can anybody see anything? No. There's nothing here. And then, okay, I can move him down to that position. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, nothing here, we can move. And then he goes down all the way where he, can't move anymore. And then he can't move anymore. Let's say he's like here, somewhere like floating still in the air. Oh, no, 5 pixels, I couldn't move. You just have to imagine he would be here. He can't move. He can't move. This is telling us that we can't move. So let's do all of this crap that's inside of here. Okay. While he's still not meeting. This was again not. Well, he's still not meeting. Move it 1 pixel. 1 pixel. Is there something here? No. Okay, still okay to move. Go move, 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 move. So, what happens when we put 50,000 or 100,000 or something really, really big? Okay, let's go 50,000 down. Oh, shit, the game doesn't even... But let's say it's here even. Here's 50,000. Is there anything colliding here? No, there's nothing colliding here. Well, let's move him here. Oh, he went through. That's when you have extremely big speeds, it will actually go through. Now the question is, okay, I don't want that. I don't want him to... Like, what if someone, we use something that punches him and he goes really fast? What we can do is say that if vertical speed is smaller than something, let's say 20, only then would you add grav to it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, vertical speed is grav. And what we can actually do to be more realistic physics, we can do plus equals. I haven't actually explained what plus equals is and what is the difference with equals either. So equals is that it's the same thing as doing, if I do candy is, no, that's not a good. It's like something is equal, from math again, it just means that it's equals. Plus equals means that whatever number is already here, add this to it. So if the vertical speed is now above 20, under 20, it will still add it. After that, it won't add it anymore. That way, there's a max velocity, just like in the real world, which is now 20 pixels. Then, as long as our blocks are not smaller than 20 pixels, he won't go through it. Does that make sense? We can of course try it because it might be I'm talking out of my ass. Oh look, at line 5 we have a program error, first one. What did I do? Oh, I left this here. Jump speed is now 0. So that thing that you just saw, I can actually show it again just for people who are seeing it the first time. So if you're doing something wrong, you'll get this. Oh, that was even correct. You'll not correct, but you can get this kind of thing. A lot of mean red text that's really mean to you and hates you, and you hate it, and you're never like this text. It hates you. So this means you did something wrong. You forgot to put something here, something is wrong, nobody likes you. Nobody likes this. This is why everybody gives up. Because every time you follow this tutorial, you'll get all these red things. Nobody tells you what to do. So let's read through this. In object ninja, in event step. Oh, that's actually the script I'm actually working on. It's an object ninja. And here we were editing the step. So, okay, it's the object ninja step. And it's most properly the script you most recently worked on if you keep clicking play very often. Action number 1 at line 4. Line 4. Okay, let's go here. Oh, it's actually highlighted for me, line 4. It says line 4 has a problem. I can't see a problem with line 4. Oh, but if I look at line 3, there's a problem. So it helped me find where I did something wrong. You can't just write stuff here. I mean, that's sadly not how it works. You have to be very precise. It's very, 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 very precise thing. So let's put it to 0. Now it's okay. Now, if we close this, we don't want to see him ever again. Throughout the series, we'll never see him again. I promise. No, I won't promise. So now, oh, he didn't come up again. Oh, now we got something else. What is it now? This is totally different. This means that, oh, I did everything correctly from a kind of how it should be written, but still something's logically wrong. So vertical speed not set before reading it. What does that mean? Oops, I might have closed it a bit. Vertical speed, it was saying vertical speed is not set before reading it. It means I'm trying to here check what vertical speed is, but it doesn't really exist. It's a bit difficult to explain. It doesn't exist here. How can you check? There's nothing. It doesn't exist. We haven't made it anywhere. So we actually have to write vertical speed equals something here. It used to work because we were just setting vertical speed instantly to gravity. But now when we were doing a check before we did that, it went wrong. So if I now remove, if I remove this, it won't work. But if I remove this, it will still work. Like if you do this kind of if checking where it's trying to access, when an if it goes into this variable and it's trying to look what is in there. And because we didn't do this first setting, we're setting it to 0. It was, if I remove this, this is not even 0. This is nothing now. This is like doesn't exist. And that's what it's saying. It doesn't exist. So we have to make it exist. So let's try it again. Let's see if we get another of those mean dialogues that keep shouting at you. No. Now we're fine. So now we have also a max speed. And we also made it accelerate. So he's in the beginning falling a bit faster. So his max speed now, his max velocity, terminal velocity is 20 pixels he moves forward. All right, jumping. I was gonna do jump and then I noticed that I suck at coding and then we have to go back, just like everybody else. So let's make a jump. Let's make a jump speed 5. I don't care what it is, we can adjust it. And then what we can do is just here. Sorry, getting messages. I'll mute it a bit. Okay, so let's make a jump now here. So what we want to do is let's just do jump first. Let's do that. So vertical speed. Keep vertical. I keep starting to remember it's vertical, not horizontal. Vertical. Okay, vertical speed is equals something. Well, what is it equals? I don't know. We have to find this button. I want to jump from the A, right? You can of course go and look up how to do it with, space, for example. But I need to get the A to make it work. So let's go. As again, I probably could have prepared and then I would know it, but I don't know anybody who codes by preparing in real life. So we'll go and look it up. So game maker, I need to know something about gamepad. Key press. Gamepad input. Oh, I've been there before. So let's look. This doesn't look like anything. Oh, here it tells me name. GP phase 1. Okay, so I need the GP phase 1. let's see. Button pressed, button released, button pressed, oh, button check. There's different ones. So what I want to do, so there's different ones. So press means it's the exact moment of press. This is again a bit like an event. So check if it's been pressed. This happens when he's pressing and he's releasing it, then he jumps. So if you want to do like, he presses down, he charges, and then he jumps, you would use released. Maybe we use that one. It doesn't really matter at this point. It might matter later on, and then we can change it. That's how you do. You just select something. So, gamepad button check released. You can use that. We can even copy it. We're lazy coders. We're not going to write everything in code. So press, same thing. Yeah. So let's see. Let's see what happens. So now we need to know if it's pressed or not. I actually never tried this, so let's see. Most come exactly. Geek Swede is saying you can hold the pressed and it will execute every step until you release it, I think. Yes, correctly. So I was explaining a bit badly or wrong. It's like, it's as long as it's pressed, it happens. Well, maybe we will do that because then you can keep jumping, but that's weird again. That's not how jumping usually works, so we don't want that. That might be for like shooting. Let's say if we can shoot something. And actually jumping, would that be X? I don't know. What do you want? Do you want an X or A? We can do either or. I was gonna go A, but it's a bit hard. I don't know. Maybe it should be jump with A and then X would be like punching or something. So we copy paste this. Let's remove this. And then let's take this times the jump speed. Now, you want an X for jump? A. Oh, I have to make a poll, and I don't know how to do that, so... I think X would be weird. I think A should be jump. You want to do it with the bottom of your thing, and then X would be like punching or shooting or something. Anyway, so jump speed. But now we have to remember that plus was down. So now when I would press this button, it would go down. I don't want that. I want it to go up. Actually, I could do pressed. Let's try pressed. I'm trying to think, should I do pressed or released? Let's try pressed. And so we want to go up, so we put a minus. Jump speed was fine. See what happens. Not sure. Who knows? Nobody knows until it's run. It's like the Schrodinger's cat. Nobody knows. It's actually working, the code, until someone tries it. Oh, nothing is happening. Did I write the right... oh, GP select. That's not what we want. GP phase 1. Oh, you see? It didn't work. I should have pressed the select button until he jumps. Oh, still nothing. But it still works. Maybe he just can't jump. He doesn't... White man can't jump. He's clearly white, so we need to make him black and then he can jump. Anyway. Bad joke. Sorry about that. Okay. So maybe it's because this is returning true or false. In some coding languages, true and false can be 1 and 0. Or are we doing something else down here? Let's figure it out. Now we don't actually need that anymore because we're setting it to something. So we're setting it to the button. So again, to figure it out, we would look at the document. And let's see. This is just checking if, but let's see. Does it return 1? Maybe not. Check button raise. Let's try it another way then. Yeah, but this should be going up. It shouldn't really affect the vertical speed. That's true. It sets it to 0. So if he wanted to jump, we should not we can even try it doing like this. Let's see if that's true. So what I'm doing now is something we're trying to like this. That way now it won't set it to 0, so we'll know. And we can even make so the gravity will, of course, but let's see, it should fall slower now. But this is what program is all about, it's figuring out things. It seems to, yeah, be working a bit now. So how would we want to do this then? So let's see, what can we do? Well, we could make it just below it. And actually, we can even put it inside of here, if we wanted to. Meaning that only if something is actually colliding can you jump. So now you can't even jump. And of course now we have to do vertical speed 0, or we'll get the error again that says, oh, it's not set here when we're checking it. So now we're actually adding it only if there's something below it. That's what we want anyway. You don't want to jump in the air except if you have double jump. I know something about coding. Not much, it seems. Oh, he's jumping! Not much. But he's jumping. Now if I keep pressing it, still. Maybe this can be his walk animation. Maybe not. I don't want to make that. So now it only jumps when... So again, I figured something out. I was just thinking about that. I could have put it here. Like Huffern was suggesting I could put it here. I could have, but I knew that I anyway wanted to check first that he's landing, so I was just like, let's put it here instead. But now what happens is that, of course, instantly he leaves the ground, he won't be able to jump anymore. And he will be able to jump, so let's make this a bit bigger. See what happens. Oh, I haven't changed graph. I'm following. Sorry. Jump speed. And we did apply it with jump speed, yes. It's too late in the evening. Let's see what happens now. Oh, not really very beautiful though. It's just teleporting him up actually. So that's not what we want. Let me think how we could do this better. So let's look at this. Yeah, we can create a tiny walk animation, something simple. And by the way, we will refactor or recode this because this is terrible code. You shouldn't really code this way where you're just putting everything in one file. Like, oh, look, you have all this code, like all this, oh, is it colliding or not, all in one place. You want to separate them into different places so that you can reuse it, because we don't want to code this whole same thing for every character we have. We want to just code it once and then reuse it. But yeah, let's look at what we can do. So it only allow this. Now it's jumping too high up. He's jumping too high. So what if, let me think. What if it did it differently? Let's figure this out. So now what's happening is just applying it once, and then after that you can't apply it. And we want it to apply it for a longer period of time. And one of the problems is that it's putting it here to 0. We don't really want it to be 0. So what we need to do is, if you don't want to put it to 0 here, and this could was complaining, hey, it needs to be 0, this is when the create comes in handy. So we don't want to set it to 0 every frame. We want to set it only once to 0, right? So I just added a script here. So now when this runs, this code will run. Object gonna create one. And then here, because I'm not using, again, back to the, if I use var, it would delete it after it's run all these things. But because I'm not, it's still available. So it can read it. It's a bit hard to explain, but this will be readable. As long as you keep writing it this way, and then we can also put everything here, like we can even put grab here, and then we can remove it. Jump speed 50. Yeah, so, and then I can remove basically all of this too. And I've added the movement speed, right? Nope. Movement speed 2. Right? That was the movement speed. Jump speed. We can remove all of this, and I probably again forgot something. But now we won't put it to 0 again. So what happens now? Now it only runs once. We will use GameMaker, but as you can see, I've only been using this for 2 weeks, so I'm also learning. But I think while I'm learning, you are learning, because you can see, and then you kind of see why something is done differently. You understand it better. I've been using Unity. In Unity, this would be much easier for me to do, but I like a challenge. Let's see what happens now. Okay, jump now. Oh, look, now it works quite correctly, but he's really slow on moving right and left. But I can't, if I keep pressing it now, he doesn't just keep jumping. Now, if you looked at yesterday's, yeah, we have a video actually on YouTube, and we explain why we use GameMaker instead of Unity, and I can shortly discuss it here. Why we decided to go GameMaker is because we're only 2 guys. We're an indie company. We're not like 600 people working on, the next, Counter-Strike or anything. So GameMaker is much easier. We want to do 2D games because we think they're cool, and we think, there's still a lot of people playing 2D games. And Unity is more for 3D games. It's called Unity 3D. And Unity is getting better and better at 2D, and they actually have some really cool features coming up. But as recently they announced, it was supposed to actually come out in this month, March. they moved it forward because they got a new product manager at for the 2D, or like a project owner for the 2D, and because he's catching up now what needs to be done, they moved the milestone to when the new 2D feature is coming out by, I don't know. We don't know when it's going to come out. Maybe at least 3 months, probably more than that, probably maybe up to a year. I have no inside information on that, but I mean, it's going to take some time. So we didn't want to wait for that. In Game Maker, you can make levels really fast, like Arash, who's the other guy. He's an artist, he's not a programmer. So, you know, Unity is a bit scary for him, you know, if he, you know, in Game Maker, he can also do stuff much more easy. In Unity, it's a bit more difficult. So that's why we chose Game Maker. It has more, it's geared towards 2D. You can get, you know, this up and running quite fast, and you have a bit more control when it comes to 2D things. Like in Unity, you would easily use just built-in physics. Now we're actually doing our own kind of collision system, which is cool. You understand, you learn something new. So we fixed that, but it was still a bit weird. We don't want him to jump that high, so maybe 5. He was moving sideways a bit slowly. Maybe we can also tone down the gravity a bit, like to 0.5 or 0.981 to really like play that is physics. But there's nothing wrong. If you want to make your 2D games in Unity, oh, now he's jumping really low. In Unity, that's okay. If you want to make it in Game Maker, that's okay. And do please check out our YouTube videos. Everything we stream here, we archive there because in Twitch, they only have it for so long. We're going to get the professional thing so we can have it up to like, so we can have it up to, you know, several, like, was it 2 months or something? And maybe I'll do something in Unity, like just off the cuff. Again, no promises, but I might do something in Unity because I'm really comfortable in Unity to show you the basics. But let's see. So anyway, now you can jump around. You can bunny jump. If you know what that is. If you're an old school gamer, you know what that is, but from Quake. Anyway, maybe the jump could be a bit more, or maybe the gravity could be a bit less. Let's put a bit more jump. This doesn't matter at this point. You know, this of course is really important to balance, but when you're at this point, it doesn't matter. So now we wanted to, there was some suggestion that we should do some kind of animation. So let's do some animation now that we have some basic stuff there. So here, let's then create a new sprite. We don't want to use the same sprite, we need to create a new one. And actually, maybe we can actually, is it there? Sorry. Let's do it like this, duplicate. Let's call it sprite ninja running. So now we have a sprite ninja running. Maybe we can rename this to sprite ninja idle. So when he's not doing it, he's just gonna be like, we can of course make him like, we can actually even do it now if you want to, but okay. So sprite running, let's add a sprite for running, edit sprite. So let's use that as the basis for the first frame, and then let's oh, no, not from file. I think there is also a insert empty, and we want to, actually I know how to do it. Let's see, because this would create an empty, right? We don't want that. We want to duplicate this. Is it this one? Copy the image to the clipboard, cut the image, edit, add empty, insert empty, just empty. because it's much easier if you don't have to do that. Okay. If we have to do empty, at least we can not do that. Oh, there we go. Now we have like 4 frames. Sorry, like I said, I don't know everything perfectly here either. So now what we want him to do is, let's make his like feet go like you know, Naruto Ninja or something. Let's make his one leg be a bit more go up. So he has the right leg up, I guess, from his perspective. And here we would see what it looks like if we put just this then up. Show preview. Oh, Naruto running. No, he shouldn't run like this. He's not a weirdo. Well, maybe he is, but I won't comment on that. So we can remove this. So let's make him like his arm. Let's move his arm. Oh, wrong black. Let's make him like go like this. There we go. You should be leaning forward too. We should have done that. So he would be more like this. Yes. Oh yes. Hey, again, you never know what you're doing before you start doing it. So. Or what you should do. I don't even know if you want to do it this way. Move his leg. Add a leg. I want it to be connected though. See what that looks like. So now I don't want these anymore. Let's copy and paste. And hey, Josh Klugishin, Josh Klugishin, welcome to the chat. We're just making a run animation and making him like, and then maybe we would make him flip also from side to side, so he's not always running in the same direction. So this would be him like whichever leg he could lift up. So let's remove this. See what this looks like. Oh, we want that to be the first frame maybe. Oh, let's just delete this and then let's just remove this guy's leg. I don't know if this is gonna look. I'm good. How are you? I'm not French. I'm from Finland. Not French. Okay, that looks a bit better. Maybe the speed doesn't need to be that high. You know, this is not a high FPS game. And hey, try to pronounce my name. If you're not from Sweden, you're gonna have trouble. Or maybe Denmark, Danish, or Norwegian, you might be able to. But yeah, it's not easy either. So this still looks somehow weird. He looks like he has something bulging out of there, and I don't like that. And then maybe that should more be his chest. Maybe the arm is a bit weird too. It should be more like that. Maybe we should also, maybe this and that. There we go. Maybe we can adjust this a because I want him to kind of like be leaning forward, and then like just the feet are just going up and down. Then again, now his one foot is in the air. Let's see. So his center of mass is kind of weird now. Maybe his head needs to go a bit forward. But hey, Arash can rework, or anybody can rework these. These are not supposed to be works of art yet. I mean, I'm the programmer. But this is the reason I like Game Maker. Like, in Unity, you would now have to, in Unity, you would have to like go into Photoshop, which I do have open. And then you would have to edit, import. It's limping. This is damaged animation. And actually, that's a good idea. Maybe we should just keep this and then, say this is when he's like damaged. Okay. Rename limping. I just want to do this because I want to show you that, when you do something weird, if it looks kind of cool still, you should keep it. Don't be like, oh, this wasn't what I wanted. You should just be like, hey, this is just an opportunity for me to have something different. So now we're adding the running again. It should be a copy of the previous thing. Now we can delete this limping thing. So I think that was the... Maybe we should work a bit more on it. Well, he kind of looks cool now. Cool enough for us. We should give him a name. I don't know what is his name. He's Ninja, but Bob? I don't know. You come up with something. You have to create a backstory for him. I'm just gonna make it easy. Again, of course, you can do as many frames as you want. You can make like a slow motion run animation. I'm just doing, but at this point, it doesn't really add anything to the game to do that. So I'm just gonna make like delete just one of his legs, and that's gonna be his run animation. His feet are anyway moving so fast, but you can't really see it. See what that looks like. I'm just, I mean, looks like crap, but hey, it works. You know that he's running at least. So now we have a sprite ninja running. Let's look here. He's not running. What's happening? It's broken. Just kidding. Yeah, we can save it. We can close that though. So now we have a very simple code here. There's not many lines, just 15. We're not even colliding sideways. We're just doing up and down collision. So now let's figure out how to switch it. So first off, we need to have some kind of state or some kind of thing telling that it's running. So let's create here where we had all our variables. Let's say call it like state. And when he starts his idle. Then we can check if horizontal speed is basically not 0 for this case. So again, this is another way of having the not in there. Like this would be is 0, is not 0. And then we do something. Else. And again, there's better ways of doing this, but this is one way. I'm just doing a state machine, not a state machine, but this is simple if else. So we'd put state to idle. We put state to running. State idle, state running. So if it's not, the state is running, otherwise it's idle. Then I think it's image index, but because I don't know, we're gonna look. Game maker sprite index, image index, I think it's image index. The current sub is shown for the sprite index. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Let's live dangerously. So let's do image index equals, in this case it's sprite ninja underscore. We should put these, which makes it a string ninja, an underscore because we had an underscore, and then plus state. See what happens. Probably won't work, but let's see. At least it's not giving us the finger. Okay, it's not working. And that's probably because image index is not the right way to do it. So maybe it is sprite index. Let's see. Because for some reason I remember sprite index, not image index. The index is the current sprite of the instance. Spotted, clear. It seems like the example even looks more logical. And this is a sprite, so let's try sprite index. See what happens. I'm moving, nothing. Still think the sprite index is right, but maybe we're naming it wrong. Maybe it can't be a string. That could be. Let's try it this way. Probably can't be a string. That's the problem. Let's not have a state right now. Let's just do it like this. It's because probably it's not seeing it as a object. So let's do it like this. Idle. Oh, now it became red. Running, which probably means it found it. This is also why it's so important to name something SPR underscore, because it'll become a constant here. So if you then have horizontal speed and then there's a sprite called horizontal speed, you couldn't use horizontal speed. So you would reserve it for that sprite name. Let's see what happens now. Blip. Oh, it's doing it, but something's wrong. It seems like it's not centered. Let's try it again. So now when you see it's like aligned weirdly, it probably means that your pivot or where the center is considered is wrong. He's running and he's running backwards. He's moonwalking. That won't be the sound effects, don't worry. That won't. But maybe they will. Maybe they won't. So now we want to flip this depending what horizontal speed is. He has big sleeves. Every wizard has a big sleeve. No, he's not a wizard. That's a bad example. So now we want usually how to flip something. There might be better ways, but usually it's to scale it. So let's see. Scale image. Image scale. Actually, a better way to search for this is flip sprite. Let's look what these guys say. This loads. Oh, Arash is already saying, make his head bob up and down. No, that's too advanced. It's too advanced. Make sprite flip. Let's try this. Most probably it's like game maker flip scale. Let's try that because that's just loading for 100 years. Image X scale. There we go. Image X scale. Let's try that. And because our horizontal speed is always actually it's always 1, -1, 0, or +1. It might be we can just take this, feed it to the X scale, and then let's see what happens. Maybe it'll be wrong. Maybe it'll be right. Or maybe it will vanish. Oh yes. He will look like a blurred thing because he will be 0, and that's not what we want. So maybe we just put a simple way. Horizontal speed is greater than 0. Image scale is -1, else. Maybe we should do an else. Yeah. Then he will flip. Well, let's just do this. Image, X scale, 1. See what happens. Again, we're not here to make perfect code, anything yet. We're just here. Arash is at his own home. He's not here at all. Oh, look, it's perfect. Now we created the moonwalking ninja. Yeah, so he's at home. He's not here at all. But yeah, he does. He's on Tuesdays. He's with me, and we do the 2 devs on a couch where we talk about different things that's happening in the development world. Oh, let's just flip this like that. Oh shit. Raj is saying he's hiding under my bed, but I don't know. It's a bit. I have like monsters there, so. Oh, look. Now he's also doing it in air. And then if I don't do anything, no. The problem with this code is he flips back, and I know there's better ways of doing this, but right now I like to keep it simple to follow, and easy to do. Let's see if we can change that. So, only do this if horizontal speed is not 0, because then he's not moving. Ugly code. Let's see if that fixes that. If it does, we can refactor it later. Now he looks in the direction. He seems to be moving a bit. Let's edit the sprite. Make it a bit slower. That's too slow. That's better. So, oh yeah, this is not the speed of in the game. Of course. I'm stupid. Anyway, it's good enough. You know how we can also do it? It's just we can fill frames. So we can duplicate that one, duplicate that one, duplicate that one, duplicate that one. That will get more lower the speed, but that just becomes hard to in the long run manage. But let's make the head bob. So when his right foot is up, his head goes down. Maybe let's try that. And then always when his foot is up, he goes. Well, maybe the other way around. No, usually when you lift your feet up, your head goes down because you have to kind of do the reverse. You know, sometimes when you're doing games, you know, you should be like, you know, oh, I'm gonna run, so let's see what happens. Oh, okay, this is how it works. Oh, okay, when I'm standing, my head is up. Oh, now I understand. Now I know what to do. That way, it'll be a bit better. You know, you shouldn't be scared of fooling around. Let's see what it looks like. Now his head goes up and down 1 pixel. Maybe it doesn't need to go like that. Kind of looks cool though. He's like, oh. Again, we're just having fun. Anyway, so this is our first version. We spent a couple hours now. We've been doing this, and now we have a game where you can jump around. Now, this is it for this episode. But now, for the next time, so if you created this along, or if you wanna, you can also download this code from GitHub, and I can show you how to do it just in a moment. The challenge will be, now it only collides up and down. So the challenge is for the people who kind of are trying to learn code. If you're already advanced, you don't have to do this. It should be within your skill set already then, now when you created that. But let's, I can show you something. So let's go to the test area. Let's draw a grass block here. Oop, no, not that way. Unity, old habit. Objects, grass block, and let's put some grass blocks here. Nope, don't press that thing. So, the challenge for you guys now for the next time is to create collision. Look, he can walk into the grass block. How's that possible? And then he gets stuck and is weird. He can climb grass blocks too. That might be a feature, or I don't know. But we would like it to collide with this. We can go up, but we only are looking for collisions in the vertical. Now we want to check it in horizontally. So try to do that. And I can show you how, if you haven't been following and coding everything else I talk, because then you can go to GitHub. So again, let's open the browser. Actually, let me commit this first. So let's save everything, yes, save. Everything's saved. So I'm using a program called Source Tree. You don't have to understand that right now, but I now select all the changes. And let's see what we should name it. We should call it, the commit message will be first art and code. Let's make a game. Well, we don't need that part. Push it immediately, commit. So now you can see it's being uploaded. It's going to the sky. There we go. So now, as I said, when you go to GitHub, and you go to GitHub Game Dev Company, you have Let's Make a Game. And here, oh look, sprites. Oh, shiny. You have everything I just made. Let me just open that. So here, you don't have to install that program I just uploaded everything with. You just need to go here. And here, you just press download zip. Now you downloaded it. Then you just put it in a folder, install Game Maker, which you find from Yo-Yo Games, I think is the address. You press Game Maker, you register, get the studio free, except if you want to pay for it. You can download it, you install it just like any software, and then you load this as a project, you have everything. And then if you're following this, a bit older, like once this has gone forward, you can also download a specific commit. So this is the commit that is this episode. It's called First Art Code. So in the future there will be more. And I think if you can somehow download it. I'll figure that out for the next time, so you can then download just that. Maybe I will even make releases so that every version will be here as a release, and then you can just download that release. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please tell your friends, your grandma, your mom, especially tell a rock. If you find a rock on the road, just go and pick it up and be like, Dad, hey, you know what I saw today? I learned to make a game. or then don't do that if you don't want to go into insane asylum. But thanks for watching, and again, this will be again up next Thursday. We'll continue exactly from here, and we'll maybe do some new stuff. Maybe we'll do some cooler stuff. We'll create that collision, vertical collision, horizontal collision. Try to do that yourself as a challenge, just to see, did you understand the code? And then, see you next time. And remember, next Tuesday, the two devs on a couch, we're not gonna stream it because we're both, Arash and I are in Milan, in Italy. We might be streaming something from our mobile phone just to say hi, but we won't have an official episode. So that's in 2 weeks. But we will try to do more and more content, but right now it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. And also check out our YouTube channel, as this goes forward, there's gonna be more content. Okay. Thanks everybody for following also in the chat. I also just want to make an ending because when I put it in YouTube, we have an ending.